Hi, buddy. How's Austin Gomber doing? And is he going to go out on a rehab start this week?
He just threw a bullpen, Danielle, moments ago. Felt fine. What we'll probably do first in San Diego, we'll probably create some sort of simulated game early in the afternoon in San Diego. He'll face some of our hitters. I believe it's on Saturday. And then from there, we will make a determination whether he'll go out on a rehab assignment. Not unlike what we did with John Gray. That's probably where we're headed.
And where's Jordan Sheffield at right now in his recovery?
It's a slow process. This is one where Mother Nature has to take its course in the type of injury that he had. He's in a sort of a strengthening phase right now. It's still healing. The tear is starting to scar down. Now we just got to build his strength back up. I'm not quite sure when he's going to pick up a baseball, but we're very hopeful that he'll hopefully sometime in August that he might be able to take the mound, whether starting a rehab assignment or even with us. But we're right now we're just making sure that the healing process is taking place and he's gaining strength.
Thank you.
Thomas.
Hey, buddy, wanted to explore a couple things with Scott Oberg. At the end of your career, I remember you kind of immediately became an advisor with the Cleveland Club and did a lot of things pregame with some of their guys. Are you seeing Scott, if he's not able to come back, kind of in a similar type career path right now?
Well, everybody's path is different. Post-playing career, I know that Scott wants to be here in Denver. He'll spend the season with us. I think he's undertaking an educational process right now. Doing some different things with our front office. I know that he's went out and scouted players. He'll be part of the draft here this weekend over at Salt River. That's where our scouts are convening with Billy Schmidt and Mark Gustafson and Danny Montgomery and all our amateur scouts. They'll all be here, and Scott will be a part of that, watching and learning, listening. I also know that Scott is doing some postgraduate work. He got accepted into Georgetown and a master's program in sports management. So he's keeping active and keeping busy, and we'll see where this takes him. But I love the fact that Scotty's engaged and thinking about life after being a player. So he's starting his process now of learning about the game on the other side of being a player.
There's a little bit of difference kind of between being a player and being a coach, but I understand that also, he'll reach out and give pitchers ideas, or they'll come to him and ask some questions. Do you include him as kind of a part of your staff, or do you kind of see him right now as more of a guy who is one of the guys and, can just lend his experience?
Well, I think I still see Scotty as a player, right? And I think Scotty still sees himself as a player. I'm not sure what's going to happen, obviously, physically with Scotty and whether, there's hope of him, pitching again. I don't think that he's officially retired by any means. I think he's still going through some, medical checkups and doctor's appointments, some of his circulation problems and his veins and his vessels. All those things are being explored, and they're trying to gain some knowledge. But along with that, he's been a teammate to a lot of these guys for a number of years. He's met a number of these guys who are rookies and new to the team that he's a great sounding board for. So, we love having him around. He adds value in a lot of different ways. And, I'm going to encourage, and, along with our coaching staff, and encourage Scotty to intermingle with the guys and give him his thoughts, because I trust Scotty and what he has to say and what he has to offer.
Okay. Hey, on another subject, when you have a pitcher like Bart who's struggling against left-handers and he's a right-handed pitcher, are there common things maybe even from your career that you can remember if you ever ran into some issues against righties? Are there common things or is it all kind of different?
Well, I mean, there are, again, you hear me talk about pitching principles a lot. I think that comes into play a little bit with, some of his struggles. We're going through I mean, we have all year, but we're really trying to lock down some things that, with Daniel that we think are going to help him as he, continues on this season. I mean, just some basic coaching tools and, some things we've gleaned from data. I'm not going to share those really with the media right now. I don't think that's a thing to do, but we're working on some things that we think will help him, both in his tire pitching, not only against lefties, but righties as well.
When a guy is working through some of those things, do you take him out of the ninth inning to get a different kind of viewpoint? And if you do, who would you throw in the ninth?
Well, you look at his overall body of work. I mean, it's been pretty solid. I mean, closers will have rough stretches. I saw Josh Hader give up a homer today in the ninth inning, right to Peraza. Happens to the best of them. I saw Edwin Diaz hit Kristen Yelich today to allow the go-ahead run to score in that Met Brewer game. Daniel hit a guy last night, for their victory. It happens, but on balance, Daniel's been pretty good for us, and I foresee in the immediate future that he'll still, pitch those, those innings where potential save is or a tie game like last night. But if he's unavailable, Estevez, Kinley, Givens, you saw Lawrence the other night, get the ninth inning, and after a couple walks, got the double play ball to Molina. So, we have a number of guys that will pitch late in the game. You saw Shashin move into the seventh inning yesterday, but I've said all along, Thomas, we got 9 guys in the pen. For us to have a good bullpen, it isn't just one guy. It's going to take 6 or 7 guys throwing the ball well and consistently, and maybe a couple guys not pitching well, and then that will change. We need those guys who weren't pitching well to pick up a couple guys who maybe aren't pitching well at a certain point of the season. So collectively, it has to be a group effort of 6 or 7 guys pitching well and maybe a couple guys off.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Kevin Henry.
Hey, buddy. A little bit different topic here.
Okay.
I know Dave Roberts, obviously very close. I think back to the manager of the year, you all watching it together, what you all did for COVID together. When did you kind of know that he's a guy you'd want to kind of hang out with and that you guys were going to be good friends?
Well, I knew Dave, from watching him play, managing against him as a player. And then we got to socialize a little bit, before the, 2010 season. When I first met him, he was a player back in his days with Cleveland, and I was coaching in Buffalo in '98. That's where I first ran across him. And then we've crossed paths since in the wintertime. We both live in San Diego. But really, the relationship truly started in I don't want to drag this out, but in the fall of '09, he had retired. He did some work with Nesson back for the Red Sox, and we had lunch one afternoon, and we talked about his career path, whether to stay in broadcasting or get back on the field. And I recommended, to make a long story short, that I think it would really be something if he got back in uniform. And I encouraged the Padre baseball operations team to hire Dave to come on as a coach in the minor leagues, a base running instructor, outfield instructor, start to learn life on the other side of being a player, not unlike Scott Oberg's doing now with us. And sure enough, Dave, man, just reveled in being on the field. His passion, his energy, enthusiasm showed in 2010. And then, we made a change with our coaching staff and I brought him on. And that's sort of how it started. But, I just knew once, I got to know him that there was a passion for the game, a great relationship component to who he is with people. I know he'd relate with players and executives and ownership and everything that goes along with being a manager or a head coach. And, that's sort of how in a nutshell, it's sort of how it started.
Okay. And does it make the All-Star game more special to be able to hang out in the dugout with him?
Yeah, we did it in 18 in Washington. It was a lot of fun. So, it would be great to be reunited. And again, with Reggie Smith being there, I think you guys saw that. I've gotten to know Reggie also. We're connected through, some mutual friends, as is Dave. And, Dave's special request to MLB to bring Reggie on as an honorary coach was a wonderful move. So I think, you'll see Reggie there, Kevin, you'll meet him. He's a wonderful guy. What a great player and even a better person. So it's going to be fun to be with those two guys.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Michael,
Hey, Bud. Wanted to test the memory here a little bit. I'm doing a story on Aaron Cook and his performance in the 2008 All-Star game, and
Oh my God.
you were in the dugout for that at Old Yankee Stadium. What do you remember about that game, and maybe about Aaron's performance? He came in and pitched the 10th, 11th, and the 12th that night.
Yeah, it was great. You're right. I mean, we meaning the National League, and we needed that. That was a really good game. Old Yankee Stadium, what a venue, packed, a lot of energy that night. High drama throughout the game. It was a really close game. Obviously, it went 15 innings, I believe. And I remember, Clint, obviously his relationship with Aaron being, both Rockies. Clint was keeping his eye on his guy. But yet Aaron was efficient. He got his outs. And I remember now it gets a little tricky with the pitching in all-star games. And there's a couple guys that, from what I remember, maybe could have won another inning, but didn't. And Clint had to really, sort of work his way through that game with the pitching, because that, at that point, there wasn't going to be a tie, right? You had to play through because of what happened in Milwaukee a number of years before that, no game was going to end in a tie. But it was huge that Aaron gave, the National League those 3 innings because really we were running out of pitching. So, but, and he handled it great. It was awesome.
At one point, I don't know, how much you remember. Obviously, it was several years ago, but he's got nobody on, and the bases loaded in the 10th, and Clint walked out to the mound prior to that because they had intentionally walked the third batter of the inning. Do you remember any of that conversation, and what was going on in the dugout at that point?
No, I can't remember exactly, but he got out of it. I know that. There had to be a double play in there somewhere, but because he's got such a good sinker, he had such a good sinker. But I can't think, what the conversation was. I can't remember any pre-conversation with Clint or the coaching staff that, prior to that visit.
Do you think it helped that Clint was the manager?
Sure.
That
Oh yeah.
Aaron was the guy?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like I said, it'd be rare for Clint to ask another starting pitcher or a pitcher to go 3 innings. If a pitcher was with the Phillies or the Mets or the Giants, it just because 3 innings in an All-Star game in this day and age is rare, right? I mean, especially an All-Star. So, and I can't remember how much rest Aaron had prior to that game, whether he was fresh or not. But Clint, because it was Aaron, because he knew him because he was a Rocky. I think Clint felt a little better, being able to ask a pitcher in an All-Star game to keep, to keep going.
Yeah, he had actually pitched just a couple of days before on Saturday or Sunday, which was kind of
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Okay, Michael.
All right, final questions from Tracy. Go ahead.
Hey, buddy, does the, I can't read my own handwriting, but how
Oh, no.
resilient do you think this team has shown it is? You come home and you play well, you go on the road and you have problems. The fact they can come home and play like they do, does that show you a resiliency in them?
Well, Trey, I think, I think this is a resilient group because I think we do a nice job every day of coming to the ballpark with energy and expecting to win. The ones that have come hard on the road, right? They haven't come very often, and at home they're coming. And, it's the same group of guys. And, I think we're all scratching our heads why this is happening. But, there's a lot of games like last night, right? Where close games, we can't get the big hit. We can't get the ball in the gap. We can't hit the ball over the fence. It's just not happening. It hasn't happened, this first half. Again, hopefully it turns. But I know that home or road, there's the same determination and the same expectation to play well and hopefully get a victory no matter where we are. But I think that it shows, to me, this, the grit of this group, the resolve to get it done, even though it hasn't, we haven't done much on the road. But, being here every day with these guys, I know how they're built and they're built the right way. We just got to be a little better on the road. I mean, we got to perform a little better, both on the mound and at the plate.